Hi everyone, this is Mr. Che, just trying to clear things up with all of you, especially for block 2 in the course. And so I just wanted to encourage you to just hang in there. This may look confusing, but it's not too bad if you continue to just kind of get used to the signs and just organize everything in a nice way. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen with you real quick. And um, we're going to go through the first few problems here. And whenever you see, you can kind of ignore this portion right now because that's called the inverse. But right now, what I want you to do is I want you to get used to this f and then in parentheses 5. Okay, what does that mean? That means it's a function. Okay, it is a function. And so we're looking at this function right here. That's what the f function is. Okay, and we want to see, and the number inside of the parentheses is the x value. Okay, and what we want to do is if they ask for the f of 5, okay, what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to find the corresponding y value for that. Okay, so as I mentioned before, 5 is the x value, so we go with the x value of 5. And so what they're asking for you, what they're asking for this is, what is the y value of when x equals 5? So when you look down here, notice that it is -1. Okay, so that's how you're getting these functions here. So let's look at this. Let's look at this one here. They're asking for the f of -4. Okay, let's look at f of -4. You go, remember, the number inside the parentheses is the x value, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to find its corresponding y value. Okay, so we go -4 here, and what you're going to do is you're going to try to track this down and see this dot right here. Okay, now what is the y value of -4? It is 3. So the f of -4 is equal to 3. All right, let's try 1. If we go 1 right here, okay, you look at this value and you will see that it is about the halfway point. Okay, it's half, it's not quite 1. So I would say the f of 1 is 0.5. What about the f of 6? Well, if you look at 6 here, remember the 6 is the x value. You want to look at its corresponding y value, so that would be -2. Okay, and I hope that kind of helps with that. All right, and if you are in the class, make sure you look through these slides. These slides are super helpful. They may not, I think you have to kind of sift through some of them, but just look for the examples because there's a lot of good examples on with this. Okay. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to go over a few of the problems that will be coming up in your assignment. Okay, so let's go with, I'm going to give you examples. I'm not going to actually do problems in your assignment, but let's go with, let's say, this might be in your assignment, I don't know, but let's say the f of x now is equal to 4x minus 3. And the g of x is equal to x cubed plus 2x. And what they want is, this is the problem, is f minus g and 4. Okay? Now with this 4 here, okay, you are going to replace this, whatever's inside this parentheses, not this one. This is just tells you the operation, what you're going to do at the end. What you're going to do with this parentheses is you're going to replace this 4 with all the variables in both functions. So we're going to get the f of 4 equals 4 times 4 minus 3, and we're going to get the g of 4, which is equal to 4 to the third power plus 2 times 4. Hope this all makes sense. So what we did was we're using that number 4 and we're going to plug it into all the x's in both functions. Okay, because what we're trying to do is at the end of the day, we're going to subtract the f function minus the g function. So this is what, 16 minus 3, so that'll be 13. And this is what, 64 plus 8, which then equals 72. So this ends up being, the G function ends up being 72. So since they asked you to subtract here, what you're going to do is going to be 13 minus 72. I believe actually this is in your homework assignment. So this is going to be negative 59. So the answer is negative 59. Okay? All right. Let's do another problem similar to this. If I have the G of A equaling 3A plus 2 and the F of A equaling 2A minus 4, okay, they ask us to find the G of F times 3. All right, so remember what I said before is this tells you what you're going to do at the end, okay, the operation that you're going to do with the two functions. This number tells you what you're going to plug in for the variables. So it would be G of 3 is equal to 3 times 3 plus 2. And this would be the F of 3 is equal to 2 times 3 minus 4. Okay, so this ends up becoming 3 times 3. Remember the order of operations. That's why I had you do that in the first section of the semester, is to make sure you remember the order of operations, because a lot of people get these answers wrong just simply because of the order of operations. Okay, so this is what, 11, right? This is 9 plus 2, which is 11. And this ends up becoming 6 minus 4, which is equal to 2. So you put the G function on top, so it'd be 11 over the F function, which is 2. This equals 11 over 2, or 4.5. Okay? All right, let's go to another problem here. Let's say we have, now this portion, this gets a little, there's a lot of little tricky parts to this, and that's where it gets, I'm sure it gets confusing for people. Let's say the G of n is equal to 3n plus 2, and the F of n is equal to 2n squared plus 5, and you have the G of F of 2. Okay, now this is a little different, okay, because one function's inside the parentheses and the other one is outside the parentheses. So just remember that you always start inside and then you work your way outside. So look at this F of 2 here. And what you're going to do is you're going to plug in the 2 in for the F function. And then whatever you get there, you're going to plug in that number into the G function. That's what this means. Okay, so if I have the F of 2, that equals 2 times 2 squared plus 5. And then this is what? 4 times 2, which is 8 plus 5. So the F of 2 ends up becoming 13. So now instead of putting F of 2, you could just put the G of 13. So now how do I find the G of 13? Well, I'm going to plug in the 13 in for the n, so it'll be the G of 13 is equal to 3 times 13 plus 2. So 3 times 13 is 39 plus 2, that will equal 41. And that is your final answer. Okay? Hoping this is making sense as we go along. Now, as they do in math, as mathematicians always, they're going to throw you another curveball. And just stay patient, think things through, try not to hurry through these assignments, and you'll get them. So let's do the next problem, which is another, again, they're going to throw you a curveball here. And let's go with, let's see here. I have a bunch of problems that I have right here. Let's say I had the H of A equaling 3A, and actually forget that problem. Let's clear that problem. Let's go with a 2x plus 3 is the F of x, and the G of x is equal to 4x minus 5. And that what they want you to do is get the f minus g to the x. Now we're dealing with the variable inside. Okay, so instead of a number, we have a variable. Okay, but just like I said before, whatever's inside the parentheses, that is what you are going to put in, replace in for the variable. In this case, though, the x is already there. It happens to be the same thing. So what you're going to do is you're going to straight up subtract the 2x plus 3, and you're going to take it away from the 4x minus 5. So this ends up becoming 2x plus 3 minus 4x minus 5. Okay, so yeah, just remember that because you don't have a number, so you can't evaluate the function. You can't. So this is what you get. This is what we have. So now the next thing you do is make sure you distribute the minus sign here. That's very important. So it becomes 2x plus 3 minus 4x plus 5. So when you do this, this is going to be, when you combine like terms, it'd be negative 2x plus 8. And that is your final answer. Okay. All right. Now, what if I had these same functions, and but let's put it up. Let's put a plus sign right here. If I did the f of g plus, f plus g of x, well, it would be the same thing. It'd be what, 2x plus 3 plus 4x minus 5. You do have to distribute the plus sign, but again, in this case, it doesn't really change any of the signs. So it becomes 2x plus 3 plus 4x minus 5, which ends up becoming, if you combine like terms, 6x minus 2. Okay? Now let's say that they ask us to do f times g of x. Okay? Well, you're just going to FOIL it now. I don't know if you remember how to FOIL. But once you FOIL, this becomes 6x, sorry, my bad, 8x squared. And then 2, so this 2 times 4x is 8x squared. 2x times minus 5 is minus 10x. 3 times 4 is positive 12x minus 15. Okay, then you go from here, be 8x squared plus 2x minus 15, and that is your final answer when they ask you to multiply. Okay, now here's one tricky thing here that you need to remember. They may ask you f of g of x. Now what does that mean? Well, if you have this and this are different. Okay, this means, and I'm going to clear a lot of this here. Let me clear this. All right, so I would start, these are called composite functions, and you're going to go through this in the next block. But here's a preview because there are some questions that will be coming up, okay? You start with the g function, okay? And then you're going to plug that in, whatever you get, you're going to plug that into the f function. So the f of g of x, this and this are equal to one another, okay? They're the exact same thing. Okay, they're just stated in 2 different ways. So what you're going to do is you can get the g of x first. So I'm going to plug that in here. So it ends up becoming the f of 4x minus 5 because I plugged in the x in for the g function already. And it stays the same thing, right? It's the same exact 4x minus 5. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in this 4x minus 5 in for the variable of the f function here. So it ends up becoming 2 times 4x minus 5 plus 3. Okay, distribute. and you get 8x minus 10 plus 3. Combining like terms, it would be 8x minus 7. Okay? All right, if you have any other questions, please let me know. I'm always free to help you. And so email me, send me a remind message, do whatever it takes for you to contact me. I'm here for you. All right, have a good day.